Hi, it's David C. Jones. Before the curtain goes up, and the curtain's going up one more time at Bard on the Beach, because they do this thing now where the smaller stage, the Douglas Campbell stage, I think it's called, has two shows. One plays the first half, one plays the second half. I've been doing that for the last couple of years. And I'm here with the amazingly delightful and funny Rebecca Northern, who is a pure delight, if you saw Blind Date. And she and her friend Bruce Horak, I think that's how you say his last name.
Bruce Horak, yeah.
Yeah, created a show. Rebecca, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm really well. Thank you. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you. We did a show a long time ago.
100 years ago, we
Yeah.
did some improv together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Goblin Macbeth.
Yes,
Now, Macbeth is Shakespeare's shortest script, if I remember correctly.
sure is. Yeah.
I've done some parodies of it myself, and what? So, is it because you went? This script is so well known in the cultural zeitgeist that we can now, screw around with it.
Well, no, that's just an added bonus. The Bruce and I have worked on Macbeth many times over the last 25 years. We've worked as artists in residence in elementary schools with Quest Theatre out of Calgary. We've worked on Macbeth that way. Imagine doing that play with some grade threes. They love the witches.
Yeah,
They love
and all the
witches.
murder.
And yeah, they have no problem. They know it's pretend. And then we've been in serious full-length productions of it. It's just a play that kind of keeps bubbling up.
Yes,
And it's really great.
well, in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. It's great as an artist if you have the opportunity over the arc of your career to revisit the same play over and over again, because you discover new things, etc. But the way that Goblin Macbeth came about is friends of ours in Calgary that run the Shakespeare company, Sam Chimes, lost a production of Macbeth last minute. This was last season. He lost it last minute due to COVID. So they were supposed to have a production come from Quebec, a two-hander. And so we were texting. He said, "Oh, I'm stressed out. I lost this show." And I said, "Oh, well, it's a good thing you know actor improvisers." And then,
hint, hint.
and then my phone rang, and he said, "What have you got?" And I said, "Well, Bruce and I have, had this weird idea of doing Shakespeare with these really amazing latex masks from a company called Composite Effects in the States. And maybe it's time for Goblin Macbeth."
That's wild. Now, okay, let's just jump over to these masks, because
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's elaborate makeup, and then I found out it's a latex mask, which they can be persnickety. I assume that you have like 8 there in case
Nope.
one tears.
Oh,
right?
no, they're too expensive. No, we each have one. We take really good care of it. Composite Effects masks are in Louisiana. They make the reason it looks like makeup is that we are wearing like artwork. When you see these masks up close, they have depth and layers. You can see veins underneath the skin. Composite Effects, did the background masks on Game of Thrones.
Oh, wow.
So, they're really these are not toys. They're the most expensive costume pieces I've ever come into contact with outside of film and television. And that, in fact, you could use them on film and TV. That's really the level that they're at. So they go on in one piece, pop them on, no glue, no nothing. And they fit so tightly, not uncomfortably, but they fit so well that there's actual articulation to the face underneath.
Oh my gosh, Rebecca, how remarkable. That's like, because I had to wear a Grinch mask once for a corporate gig, and it was like gluing down the eye holes and stuff, and it was so uncomfortable. And so
No, the company in fact says, please don't use glue with our products. It'll deteriorate the length of time that you have the mask. And they're I can't say enough about how well made they are.
Do you mind if I ask you how much your face cost?
Yeah, they cost around $750 US each.
Wow. Excellent. Now, I want to know a little bit about your creative process because, of course, you've done Blind Date and you've done lots of other shows because you're not in Vancouver that often.
No,
You pop in,
unfortunately.
yeah. You're busy creating stuff elsewhere.
Yeah,
If people will give you money to create stuff, you're like, I'll do it here. Uh,
exactly.
yeah. So, what is your creative process like? Do you and Bruce get together and have a barbecue and then just start, going, hey, what about a mosquito that can read? Right.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we hang out a lot. We talk on the phone every day. We're both trained improvisers as well as, mainstream and classical actors, and we like increasingly we like our theater weird. And because we both trained at the Loose Moose Theater in Calgary with Keith Johnstone, we have improv and mask background. We've worked in TYA, theater for young audiences, like we've done corporate gigs, we've done everything. So we're just really comfortable kicking ideas around. And oftentimes, I say, 8 or 9 times out of 10, one of us will say, what about XYZ? And you kind of riff on it and laugh. And then you go, that's probably just better as a conversation in the car than a full length show. But every once in a while, you go, oh, this one's captured our imagination for some reason. Okay, well, let's go a bit further. Let's go a bit further. And then at
and
some point, you ask one of your producer friends, is this something you would buy, maybe, if we made the show?
wow. Wow. So now what would we that's cool to hear that. It's neat to hear the hopefully to the people watching this video they also find hearing that process.
Well, we have always had an agreement between us that we will not wait. For example, we won't wait for grant money to develop something. We go, okay, if we believe in the idea, if we're excited by it and we believe in ourselves and we invest our time in something, we hope to sell it down the road and we hope to sell it multiple times.
Right. Wow.
And also try getting grant money for, improv and anything that sounds remotely fun or entertaining. There's just no, that sounds like entertainment. That sounds commercial. So we're not going to give you grant money. So
now, okay, so there's improv. Is it like do you have like one of the goblins talking to the audience to get ideas to incorporate into it, or do they both?
no.
Is it just two goblins doing it?
So there are actually 3 goblins,
Three.
and the premise is that they have found a copy of the complete works of William Shakespeare, and they've read it cover to cover, and that they're a bit like, who is this guy? He seems to know a lot about witches and fairies and goblins and monsters. He writes about them. Maybe we should try doing theater and see if we can learn a bit more about humans that way. So the goblins take over a theater without permission, and they sort of cajole an audience into participating. And the number one goal for us, because we love the language so much, and we have both of us, we have such a background in Shakespeare. Our rule was we have to be so adept at speaking the text that we could move in and out of it with ease, so we can break in the middle of a scene and improvise if something comes up or something inspires us. But it's not like it's not. It looks more like a piece of theater being done by people that don't quite understand it. Well, it's being done by goblins that don't really understand theater. But we're not. We're further away from, let's say, a standard kind of improv show where we say, like, for the next scene, we'd like an occupation. We're not doing that. The goblins are trying to do Macbeth. They're really trying their best to do the play, but sometimes they just can't stay inside of it.
Right.
And they have to break out. They break out and have improvised moments. That's not to say that there is interaction with the audience. Absolutely. I would sort of refer to it as like participation light.
Right.
We don't really, there's no individuals, kind of, no one's brought up on stage, that kind of thing.
Right. Oh, that's good to. I was just going to say, because some people get sketched out about that. They're like,
I
I want to go. I'm going
know.
to end up in the show, and I'm going to right. And,
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We are our style of theater, which we refer to as spontaneous theater, and that's the name of our company. It's we from years of doing Blind Date and other shows that do specifically involve audience members. We're so good at reading people's body language. We would never ever, this is not comedy club mean spirited performance, where we're looking to cajole or humiliate or shame or make someone the butt of a joke. We're really good at reading people and taking care. Like we want you to feel better at the end of the show than when you came into the theater.
nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. That's very reassuring.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Well, this sounds fantastic. Are you doing it right now? Are you somewhere else in Canada being a goblin right now, or?
No, I am an actor at the Shaw Festival this season. So I'm in a Shaw play called The Apple Cart, and I'm in a Marivaux play called The Game of Love and Chance. And
Wow.
I am not performing at Bard on the Beach.
What?
I am not coming. I directed it, and I'm in coordination with the Bard on the Beach folks, but I am being replaced by Colleen Wheeler, star of stage and screen and Bard on the Beach.
Now, how's she gonna
Rock's terrific.
fit all of her amazing hair underneath that latex wig?
You'll have to buy a ticket to come and find out. Yeah, Colleen, and I mean, I met Colleen when I was 16. She was at the Loose Moose already, improvising when I joined in the 80s, and I really looked up
When
to
you were
her.
two.
When I was 2, I really looked up to her. Like she was, even back then, you could just tell watching her improvise. You're like, this lady's going places. Like there's just so much talent. So I really looked up to her. So when Bard on the Beach said, "Look, we want to book Goblins," I was like, "Oh, I've always wanted to work at Bard on the Beach, but I'm not available." And they said, "Well, who could replace you?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, do you think you could get Colleen? Because
Wow.
she's amazing."
Well, and I did, of course, it makes sense given who she is. It never occurred to me that she had an improv background. I don't think I ever knew that.
David, there are all kinds of improvisers with dirty secret improv backgrounds that they don't talk about. But yeah, so Colleen was at the University of Calgary and in the acting class of Keith Johnstone.
Wow.
Yeah, these are
The
things
more
I
you
didn't know
know.
about her, that she was actually initially doing a phys ed degree. But she
Wow.
took an acting class as an option, and she was in Keith's class. And he took her aside and he said, "You are very, very good. And if you wanted to have a career, I think you could do it." And
Wow.
that, anyone that knows Keith Johnstone knows he does not say stuff like that, or he didn't when he was alive. Um, and because of that conversation, she switched her major. She quit phys ed. She switched to BFA. She did another year at the U of C and was up at Loose Moose learning to improvise. And then she went on and I
Became
think she
Colleen
went
Wheeler.
and became the Colleen Wheeler that Keith was like, "I guess you could get a degree in phys ed, but you could also be an actor."
Nice.
Yeah, she's a great improviser. She's a really great improviser and an incredible actor. So when we sent her, video clips and said, "Look, this is what the show is it what do you think?" And she was like, "This is so weird. I have to do it."
Nice. Wonderful. Well, hey,
Yeah,
let's do this. We're heartbroken that you're not in it, but then
me too.
almost super excited that Colleen's in it. It's like,
Right?
right.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, if I get, show reports that, "Oh, Colleen invented this bit of business," I will steal any good thing that she comes up with. Because when we close up Bard on the Beach, then the team is coming out to the Stratford Festival, and we're doing 3 weeks of Goblins at the Stratford Festival. Can you imagine the Stratford Festival
That's
taking
amazing.
taking a chance on some goblins, so I get to do it then, but not until I, review the tapes and steal any good bits that Colleen's come up with. And I'm not saying anything I haven't said to her face. That's for sure.
Well, this is fantastic. Well, hey, here's your I'm so excited about this show. I mean, I know that you're almost completely sold out at Bard on the
I
Beach.
know.
They're probably regretting putting it in the smaller stage. They're like, we could have put this, I guess next year they'll put it in the
Maybe,
big
eh?
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always leave them wanting more. Look, not in my whole career have I been involved in any project that is like on track to sell out before it opens.
That is
What?
so
When
great.
does that happen?
Well, right now. It happens
Yeah.
now.
People are waiting for goblins. And then in the new year, Bruce and I will be at the High Performance Rodeo with our musician Goblin Ellis, um, creating Goblin Oedipus.
Neat.
David, I'm building a goblin empire.
Wonderful. Aren't we lucky?
Yeah,
Aren't
let's
we
hope so.
lucky? And here I am being all angsty in the corner. Wonderful. Well, Rebecca, this is we'll wrap up here. This is fantastic. Can you do me, but what I always ask people to do is you have to look right at your camera and you have to sell your, I don't think you need to. I think you just hold it the mask. Go, this is why you
Yeah,
should come. But
yeah.
you want to, maybe there's one person's like, I don't know, goblins, improv, I don't know. So you're selling the last 10 remaining tickets to them in a quick little commercial plug. Look at your camera and go in 3, 2, 1, action.
Listen, if you are hesitating about seeing Goblin Macbeth, here are the reasons you need to see it. It's the weirdest thing you're ever going to see live. You're welcome. The goblins are going to make you love Shakespeare and hear it in a way that never would have occurred to you. And let me tell you this, when teenagers see the show, they lose their minds and they scream like they're at a rock concert. And I am not making that up. So grab a teenager and bring them with you.
Nice. Fantastic. Oh, Rebecca, you're an inspiration. Thank you so very, very much. It was wonderful to see you. I know there's a time difference going on. So I guess you're around lunchtime there right now.
Yeah, 1 o'clock, just about 1 o'clock.
There you go. Well, thank you and have a great, great show tonight. Which one are you doing tonight? Game of
The
Love and
Apple Cart.
The Apple Cart. We'll have fun. And we will tell you when the show happens, we'll go, it was really good, but it needed more Rebecca in it.
Oh, bless you. Well, we'll see.
Thank you
Have
so
a good
much,
one,
Rebecca.
my friend. Nice to see you.